Hello, friends at Andrew at the Southern Open. I on my first game I had white against Erica McLean, and I just go by the advice of Alex Lenderman. I studied with him for a little while, and he recommended, to take a little more time when making moves, to do a blunder check. So basically, it's very simple math. I don't feel like I'm giving away deep secrets here. Basically, you take the number of moves and take the amount of time you have and divide it by the number of moves you need to make. You say an average game takes 40 moves, so if you're playing a 5-minute game, you can take 5 minutes times 60, 300, divided by 40. You get, say, 7.5 seconds per move or so. Is that right? Anyway, so anytime you can move instantly, just remember that you can take that much time for other moves. So that's what I did. I basically took a lot of time, and sometimes 15 minutes on a single move just to decide, just to make sure I wasn't making a mistake. I probably should have taken a few minutes longer, perhaps, on some moves, but you'll see. It's this is an interesting game. It's the Ruy Lopez. I would even take a minute or two just to make these moves, knowing that with 40 moves to make in 120 minutes and 3 minutes per move. At 3 minutes per move, if I take about a minute per move here, I can be sure that I have those those 2 minutes left over for later. So castles here, black can take the pawn either now or in the next move, and basically it draws the game more to the king side than to the queen side, which I find can be really black has an advantage over there because of the space he gains by kicking the bishop around. So I prefer this. I think it's called the center attack or something like that. Okay, so I considered several possibilities. I guess these are the ones that it's showing you here: e1, knight takes e5, and d takes e5. So I think they're all good, actually, but I chose rook e1, just trying to push the knight away. And I was thinking a lot here, but after knight g5, this is actually a mistake. Very interestingly, I could have taken this knight. H5 wins the piece back, but there's just no way to defend the piece. So I didn't see that. Somehow I didn't play that move, so I ended up suffering. It's or even lose the game. So that's how it is with some momentary momentary advantages like this one. So in the next 4 games, I was much more careful to be sure there wasn't, because I'd analyzed the game, I was much more careful in the next few games to be sure I didn't miss such an opportunity. I played knight takes e5 because I was expecting to maybe play this little trick of f4, and if the knight goes here, and this, I was actually kind of hoping she would play against that. Lines rook takes e5, and then takes on g5 if they kick the rook. This is just able to get their knight on e6. It's just such an unusual place for it, and it does have some good use there. Actually, it controls some dark squares in the center, and that became an issue a bit later. So I just attacked the rook, and I thought I made some sort of positional victory here when the bishop, had to make a few moves to activate itself. And e5 I completely missed, but after the pawn takes and bishop takes, rook d1 I guess is possible, but my position is becoming very difficult really quickly. This with the queen, and it will be soon. The pawn is attacked again, and this is the recommendation of Shredder, is to play g3. It's a really strange looking move. A lot of pieces are still on the board, and it would have just been nightmarish to defend. As it was a bit nightmarish to defend when I played rook f1, so now I don't really have to fear this discovered attack on the queen. There's not, that pawn won't attack anything, but it will clamp down on the queenside pawns, and my queen's momentarily, well, she needs to stay occupied with the defense of f4, so this knight becomes a bit of a tactical liability, actually. It took me so long to develop the queen side. I was concerned with getting a great advantage out of the opening and then sustaining it is something I've been working on a lot lately, and I just neglected. I was working on my opening actually, and ended up neglecting other parts of the opening. So there's really a great move here that I missed. Basically, knight e4 and knight f6. This would have this is one of the last chances to kind of stay in the game. I won the game, but right, I played rook f3, so knight e4 was one of the ideas here. But rook f3, going through the motions of attacking, I don't have a great attacking position here. The knight actually already defends. I guess I could, she's defending it, in the event bishop takes knight. And let's see. I don't have to. I was thinking about f5 a lot here, and now I'm actually hoping that I could play queen and bishop battery on g2. So it's just really doubly bargained on. Queen g5 apparently is a really and I could have played knight e3 already here. This would have been played f takes g6, kind of hoping for some activity, some play on the king, and let's see. I made a huge mistake here. I still could have blocked the. I still could have played rook e3 or knight f3. She plays queen. I thought I was losing the game, and actually, it kind of is lost. I managed to avoid. This is mate in one, so I can't do that. And I have to block, basically. Would have won the game for her. So unfortunately, she missed that. And when you look at Grandmaster games and they happen all the time, they miss moves. You can't, just because there was a move that wins the game, and it was possible to find it, doesn't mean that you didn't really win the game, So you have to learn from it. Okay, so rook takes d8 was played, and the queen takes, and then attacking the queen, and I forced the exchange of queens, and then I I won the endgame. I stopped analyzing this. I think what happened here was like king f7 and then rook here, and then the rook bishop had to go back, and I was starting to win it, and there were all these moves like that. So basically, it was technical endgame win for me. I defended with knight d3. Anyway. My game against Chris Stormont was a knight f6 variation of the Scandinavian, and went into a kind of interesting, strange variation, I guess, here. I'd never really played the queen takes line, so I just played queen a5. You can play queen h5, either or. If you go queen h5, you bring the bishop to g4. Go here. Typically, you get this pawn structure you'll see here in a second. Knight c6 I think was more accurate, but why? I think you play knight c6 and castle queenside. Is that what it was? Yeah. So this is really good for black. Anyway, I played c6 because I'm more familiar with the ideas there. And you just have to, and it happens in the game actually. So I'm really worried about d5. So I just block the access to my king and bishop g5. White's actually doing fairly well here. H6 apparently is really good for black. With the bishop b4, I think the computer recommends this. And the following could have happened, which actually looks pretty good for white too, I think. But anyway, let's go back to the castle. And here, so I'm a little worried, I guess. But I'm taking my time, and there's a tactic of knight takes knight now, of course, so the queen has to move. And in doing so, he dropped this pawn. Queen goes there, and I think so. After queen c3, it's okay actually. You just bring the bishop back, but as it goes. And I realized actually they can't go to a3 because the queen's on that, so it took a long time to think about that for some reason. Okay, so what he wants to do is play bishop a6, h6. So my plan was just bring the bishop back. I don't need to actually respond to that threat, and some of the moves, I was always happy when I saw my moves were the computer agreed with the moves I chose, and knight 8, knight b6 was the top choice here. Felt pretty good about that. And then to take the bishop was also approved by the computer, so to speak. I think Shredder preferred knight d5 here, which is more, sensible, but I thought I'd play the rook because, it really can't be harassed for a while, and it's attacking this pawn, and I want to bring a bunch of attackers to that pawn. In a second, I'm going to play a maneuver with my knight. This is an odd move that ostensibly here, but it wasn't my idea at all. I offered this exchange, and I thought you might deny the exchange, which I didn't mind at all, because the whole idea is to play knight f5. It's a little bit, perhaps, quirky maneuver, but ends up bringing another attacker to d4 in the end, and I didn't lose, any. I didn't give him any good moves. At least the computer didn't think so. In any case, he offers an exchange of queens and basically drops this pawn, a second pawn, and I'm convinced that I can win now. I just need to be very, very careful. And actually here. I thought he could have played this, and but he didn't. He played bishop f4, which is a tactical blunder, so knight just kind of disgusted with himself or something. I'm not really sure, but a rook up. This is super easy to win, and so I won. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll try to post the next 3 games and talk maybe less or faster or something. All right.